Good evening, guys, and happy Wednesday to all of your sunshiny faces. So guys, we ended up getting back from Jack's graduation, and I ended up falling like straight to sleep almost when we came back. I was still eating my Chipotle that we got and now my dad is actually, I fell asleep for several hours now, and it's a little longer than a nap, but I think what I'm going to decide to do is that I'm just going to, I already brushed my teeth, I'm just gonna real quick wash my face and then just take a shower in the morning, because my dad is getting up to go to work in just a little bit, and so I don't have any time to take a shower before he needs to take one before he has to leave for work. So I was like, I literally can't believe that I ended up doing that. I'm not even joking. I fell asleep like mid, but I sort of finished, like not finished my Chipotle, but I kind of just set it aside and was like, I have no clue. I just completely fell asleep. So like I said, I think that's just what I'm gonna do, because I'm like a little too tired even right now to kind of take a shower. And so yeah, I woke up though a little late today, and so I think that's why. Like honestly though, the bigger thing was that my back was bothering me a lot. It's funny too, even Jack was complaining. He was like, oh, those chairs were really uncomfortable or something like that. And he was like, is this what getting old feels like? He's like, I graduate high school and it all goes downhill from here. Because the chairs they sat in like chairs on, you know, like the stage sort of, and we sat in like bleacher seats kind of. They had it at Matthews College. Jack's graduation, it was at Matthews College, and they ended up doing it sort of in like where they have like the gym, for like they had like the basketball games and that kind of stuff. And it's funny how Matthew's birthday, I think that was the first time maybe he was there. I don't know if he'd been there at all any other time, but for his birthday he ended up getting to go to the basketball game. I think he had like courtside seats or something like that, which is pretty cool. They ended up going to see the basketball game for Matthew's birthday, but so like he was just, you know, telling us about that. But then, you know, so it, you know, like a basketball court, like stadium kind of, you know, like multiple sports arena, I guess. But they were you know, all the graduates were down, you know, at the like, you know, court level, I guess, and they were all in like regular chairs, but then like I was saying, we were in the bleachers. So, you know, like I said, Jack was even complaining that it was not very comfortable, and like my dad ended up sitting in one of the seats that I guess the seat was like broken too, so he kept like sliding out of his seat. We ended up going, and my aunts, they both ended up coming. So it was my aunt, like my grandma's sister, and then her daughter ended up coming as well, to the graduation. And that was because too, we didn't have, like we wanted to obviously invite a lot more people, but we didn't have enough tickets. I think they only give us 10 tickets, that we ended up having maybe, or something like that. And so then there was us, Matthew's girlfriends, and my two aunts, and then we had invited my grandparents to come, but my grandma was actually, I think I was telling you guys, having an operation, so she wasn't able to go. And then but like she'll be they should be coming, I think, to his graduation party. And so then also too, we invited my dad's like brother and his wife and their daughter to come also, but they were coming from the city versus going all the way out to the college is like probably a good 2+ hours away for them. On a Wednesday night, we were like, that's, you know, we'll just invite them. But odds are we were kind of figuring like that they might not wind up coming. Whereas my grandparents, actually, they're closer probably to the college. I don't know if they'd be closer to college than to like us going to the college, but it would probably be like almost the same distance. Like normally Matthew's school is almost like the halfway point between us and my grandparents. Because there's like a truck stop that's like in that, also in that town. I remember that was always like our midway point, sort of, if like we had to go to the bathroom when we were little and stuff like that, or whatever it was, like that was always like the halfway point, and then that was about an hour away, and then it'd be like another hour or so until we got to my grandparents' house. So like I said, I think that they're almost as close or closer to the college than, like, you know, again, coming to us. But anyways, so they ended up, you know, like I said, it was just my aunt and it was just my two aunts that ended up coming with. So anyways, though, we did end up, you know, like we went to that. Jack ended up graduating, and you know, I don't know, I was telling you guys, I just have really like weird mixed emotions, sort of. Like, I guess it wasn't as weird with Matthew because it was like there was still like Jack, you know, to still like go through the high school, you know, and now that like he's graduated too, I'm like, that's so weird. Like, there's just no one left, you know, like, and like there was always sort of like, we still had like a connection kind of like to the town, like, you know, it was like, oh, Jack's in school, you know, and so like, you know, it kept us kind of in the know also too, I think, of like the people in, you know, like the neighborhoods, and, you know, like you know, and in the town and stuff like that, and, you know, like, oh, we know this family through, you know, like I said, you know, like Jack going to school with this kid, or again too was like Matthew went to school with this person or whatever, and so now that like there's not that, I'm just like, that's so weird. Like, you know, there's nobody else sort of like left. Like, I don't know, it just feels like our ties or connections kind of to the town now just seem kind of, you know, like, even though like my dad's still coaching like football and, you know, like that kind of stuff, it just seems like, you know, it was weird too, because like after the graduation ceremony there was a handful of kids that were like, oh, coach, like, can I get a picture with you and stuff like that. And, you know, he's not there in a coaching aspect, he's there because of Jack's graduation, but you know, like that kind of stuff too, like, you know, so there's like they knew him because he coached, but also too because Jack was really good friends with a lot of those kids, and so, you know, from the football team and that kind of stuff. And so it's like, now that there's like not that connection, it's like, it's just kind of, you know, like I feel like being connected to like the schools, it's like you're connected to a lot more of the town because there's a lot of kids that, you know, like and families like then that you kind of are connected to, you know, like the same thing too. It's like you know, again, like in playing sports, I think too, like in the town, like, you know, again too, like Jack playing football and Matthew played football and volleyball. So too, because I went to, like, I think I was probably have more of a connection to when I was in high school, like my youth group, and so there was a lot of kids that I knew that like went to, I mean, some of them, not all of them went to my high school, but again to a lot of them from being just like in the area, and knowing also to some of the ones that I might have not been friends with had I not also gone to, you know, like I said, the youth group, just like that kind of stuff. It, you know, just having like kind of that connection, and then being like, oh yeah, like I know that family that, you know, is family, you know, or like parents or whatever do this, and, you know, like they work at this, or they do this, or, you know, like whatever. And, you know, like again to like you have some connection kind of, I think, to the people in the town. And now it just feels like, I don't know, like I think that's the biggest thing, is that to me that's kind of like gone now. Like we don't really have that connection to anybody in the town anymore, or, you know, kind of like that personal kind of connection. So I don't know, it's kind of weird to not really have that anymore. But like I said too, like my dad's still coaching football, and, you know, like that kind of stuff. Like I also think too, when I was little though, like my dad, he used to umpire like softball, and he did a little bit of baseball, but he also refereed basketball. And so like that kind of too, like he had a connection to, like he knew a lot of the people. It's funny, one of Matthew's close friends, and now my dad dad's coaching football with one of the like dads, his like Matthew's friend's dad, that he originally knew them because he refereed basketball, and now, like I said, he is coaching with him for football. Like I said, one of Matthew's friends. And so, you know, but it's like, and they actually just kind of live down the street from us. And so it's like that kind of thing too. Like we probably wouldn't have had that connection had my dad not like refereed like basketball and had known them, and then now he knows them, you know, for coaching football. And like I said, we didn't even know they like could live down the street from us, you know, not too far down the street. And so, you know, like that kind of stuff, like we, like, I don't know, like I said, it's just that close community kind of like relationship. I feel like we don't have some of those connections anymore now that like it's like Jack's gone, you know, like he's gonna go and, you know, be in college, where again too there's a lot more kids from a lot of a wider area than, you know, just like high school. It's just like there's like connections and ties that I feel like we're just losing a little bit. And so I don't know, it's kind of like weird. That's why I think it didn't hit me as much with like Matthew, but now with Jack I'm like, it's kind of like it, like there's no, like there's nothing kind of like I said that's like tying us so much here anymore. And it's not like, again too, like, oh, now everybody in the whole neighborhood, you know, everybody's moving and stuff like that because you know, all their kids are gone and graduated and all that kind of stuff. But it's just, it feels kind of different, and like, you know, I don't know how to describe it. It's just too, like, I don't know. The other thing is that like, because I guess it's more just like my dad, and Matthew's most likely going to be coaching as well, but like there's not like, whereas like we would all go to football, you know, like football was the one thing that I think we were tied to a lot from like the town. And so, you know, me and my mom would still go to like Jack's football games, and Matthew and Jack, or, you know, Matthew played football, Jack played football, my dad coached, you know, like that kind of stuff. Like, and so it was like a whole family affair. So like we got to know a lot of the families that played very well, and, you know, like that kind of stuff. It's just now that like there's no Jack there, it's kind of like weird, like we don't have as much of that connection as much anymore. And I'd say too, that's probably one of the bigger things, is that for the longest time that was another like extracurricular kind of thing that like tied us. Like a lot of the people that we knew or know, and like I said, have like ties to, a lot of that came through like sports, kind of like through extracurriculars, and especially football. But like that whole kind of thing, like there's not as much stuff that we've done to get involved in the community outside of like youth sports, I guess, too, if that makes sense, and like somebody playing it, or, you know, again too, even like at this point now, like kind of coaching. And so I don't know, like I said, it just kind of feels weird, like to not have sort of that connection a little bit now. Just like I said, feels different, like knowing that, you know, I don't know how, like I said, I don't really know how to describe this, kind of how I feel. Like me and my mom have always kind of talked about possibly like joining like the garden club for our town, but like we haven't done that. But like if we did, maybe we would have, like I said, a little bit more connection to like the community, whereas like I said, like that like aspect of it is kind of like we've lost that now. And again, that's what kind of feels weird to me. So like that could be one thing, like I said, where, you know, we get more involved again in the community. But I felt like, you know, youth sports and high school sports, and, you know, again too, just having, you know, my parents, like I said, you know, we're all 5 years apart, so my parents had a very long time of having kids in the school systems and stuff like that. And like I said, just kind of having those ties and relationship to people in the neighborhood, and now we don't have that anymore for the first time in, like I said, a very long time. So again, that's just, it's kind of one of those things that's a little weird to me. But again, it was a really nice graduation ceremony. you know, and having Jack, you know, like I said, graduate was just, it's weird, but it's also really cool. You know, it's finally like he's an adult officially, and like, I don't know, it's still weird though, because he just still seems like the little baby, you know, and he's like always gonna be, you know, that he's the youngest, but I don't know. Like I said, it's just it's like weird, like I said, to me. But I didn't hardly get anything done today because, like I said, when I finally got home, the seats were so uncomfortable. When I finally got home, I was like, I just need to lay down, and it was like my back was bothering me, and then that sort of went away a little bit. Then it all started in my neck, and then, like I said, I ended up falling asleep because I was just like, oh, this is like really bothering me, and I was like, I just need to lay down. And I think that's when I laid down and like my Chipotle off to the side, I fell asleep, and I was asleep for like a good 2 or 3 hours almost. And now I'm like, okay, I just am gonna wash my face and then you know, like I said, just go to bed and probably take a shower in the morning instead, because yeah, like you said, I can't believe I fell asleep. Anyways, like I was saying, it's just really kind of, you know, like bittersweet today, you know, going through all that, and, you know, getting to see Jack graduate, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So anyways, yeah, but we actually, the thing is too, we ate the Chipotle earlier today. We ended up going, had to drop Jack off because we were going to be gone for about, or he had to be there 2 hours ahead of time. So we dropped him off and then ended up going out to eat, and then we ended up going to graduation ceremony. And like I said, it was a very nice graduation ceremony. It was very cool to get to see Jack graduate. It was a lot, I think it was a lot nicer because, for mine and for Matthew's, they had it at a smaller local college, like a community college, and so this was obviously much bigger, so it was a little bit nicer having some, I guess, elbow room a little bit more, because I remember being very squeezed in during Matthew's graduation. And I think the reason they actually ended up moving out to the bigger college was because I think the first year they did it was like maybe during the I don't think it would have been 2020, but maybe 2021 or something like that. That graduation ceremony, that group of kids, was because of COVID, and I believe that they ended up doing it out on the football field for better spacing, and so I think they've just stuck with that ever since, and have been doing it now. Like, it was indoors though this year, it wasn't on the football field, but that's where they did it the first year at the college, and like I said, it was much bigger, and obviously, you know, like I said, there's better spacing, I guess. But this year, you know, like I said, they ended up doing it inside, but there was still a lot more room than they had, and we ended up getting more tickets too, so that's why we were able to invite like my aunts and stuff like that, because I remember when I graduated, I think they only gave maybe 6 tickets, and at the time when my grandma was alive and she ended up coming, I think that was, maybe that was only 5, I think, with everybody. So like I said, there was very few tickets that they were giving out, and I think the same thing even too with Matthew's graduation. I think that's why only my grandparents were able to go, like last year, or not my last year, but for Matthew's graduation was the same thing too. It was like the 4 of us and then plus them 2. I think those are max that we were able to do. So like I said, that's why this year was a little bit nicer. We had extra tickets that we were able to invite, you know, more people too. So anyways, but I'm gonna take a shower. Well, I'm not going to take a shower, guys. I'm going to just wash my face and then go straight to sleep, because like I said, I'm just exhausted, and I didn't, and like nothing was even difficult today. I think it was just the amount of sitting in the car, because it's almost an hour ride there, like I was saying, and back, and then, you know, like I said, sitting through the graduation ceremony, and even to like sitting in Chipotle, it was just like all the chairs for the most part I was sitting on were very uncomfortable. So that's why I'm like, I feel very sore. But funny, while I was napping, I actually feel like, oh, nothing's bothering me anymore. My neck's not bothering me, my back's not bothering me. So I'm gonna actually go and like I said, get to bed properly right now. I will see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see you all your sunshine faces tomorrow. So bye, guys.